All right, so let's start with the big story that we're tracking on WION at this hour, where Hong Kong police have now arrested 4 student pro-democracy activists under the new national security law. This is the first instance of arrest being made under the new law outside of street protests. Now, the police has announced that 3 male and 1 female student, all in the age group of 16 to 21, were detained for what are being described as pro-independence activities. Their computers, phones, and other documents have also been seized by the police, and all 4 student members are said to have been members of the now disbanded Student Localism Party. The party was disbanded in the month of June, just ahead of the new security law's enactment. The police has accused the 4 students of inciting secession and trying to unite pro-democracy groups in Hong Kong.
We are arrested for the offense is under the national security law. Basically, it's a subversion, and for the organizing and also the inciting the secession according to the laws. According to what is we find for these syndicates, and because we have information, we investigated into this, we found that this organization pros in a social media about the establishment of a new parties that will promote the independence of Hong Kong.
Now, the 4 students are under investigation for possible violation of Article 20 and 21 of the National Security Act that deals with secession. If convicted, principal offenders can be sentenced to life imprisonment under these charges. Now, the Human Rights Watch has condemned these arrests as a gross misuse of security law. The prominent activist Joshua Wong has said that the arrests will have a chilling effect for online speech. Now, this is the first instance of Hong Kong police having carried out a special operation to impose the national security law. Until now, all arrests had been made during the street protests, and charges included carrying banners and shouting slogans. All right, now to give us more insights in terms of what exactly has happened in this case in Hong Kong, we're joined in by Richard Kimber. Now, Richard, let me begin by asking you this. The Chinese administration, or at least the administration in Hong Kong, claims that these 4 students in the age groups of 16 to 21 were arrested on charges of trying to incite secessionism. What exactly were they doing?
Well, the police say that they have evidence of these students being involved in this group, Student Localism, which has for some time been promoting ideas of independence and been trying to unite all of the pro-independence organisations in Hong Kong to get together and be better organised with regards to their pro-democracy campaigning. And that alone, say the police, is enough of a reason now under the new national security law to arrest them under this law and potentially charge them for inciting secession. Now, these students have been part of this organisation for some time, but they've all now been disbanded from that group because, as you say, that group was actually broken down and disbanded on June the 30th, just hours before this national security law came into effect. And that's something that actually happened across other pro-democracy groups as well, who in advance of this law coming into effect decided to lessen their operations or shut them down altogether to distance themselves from being liable to these types of arrests. So there is some uncertainty about whether or not these charges will proceed specifically with regards to what's happened before the national security law when they were part of this group, or what's been happening after the national security law when an online platform connected to that group has still been in operation. So some uncertainty at the moment, but the issue mainly at stake is the fact that these student localism posts on their online platform have been promoting the idea of Hong Kong independence, and under the national security law, that's no longer acceptable.
Right, now there are 2 aspects to this case. One, were they carrying out their pro-independence activities before the enactment of the security law, and does that mean that the administration in Hong Kong will go on and crack down on people who were indulging in these activities before the enactment of this law? And secondly, what kind of an impact is this likely to have on pro-democracy voices in Hong Kong?
Well, to answer the first question, this has long been something that the pro-democracy campaigners and the lawyers in Hong Kong have been asking, whether or not this new national security law will be retroactive. Will it apply to acts that have taken place before the law was introduced? And if so, how will those be charged and prosecuted? This case may end up answering some of those questions because, as one lawyer told me only a couple of days ago, despite this law already being in effect now for some 3.5 weeks, it's only really when cases come to court that lawyers here are starting to understand exactly how the law will actually be prosecuted. And so it's done on a case-by-case basis, really, the understanding of how this law is actually going to be enacted in Hong Kong. As for the second answer, I mean, this month has seen many examples of pro-democracy activities being clamped down on in one form or another, or prominent pro-democracy campaigners stepping back from their platform and trying to remove themselves from the public eye. So this will be seen by the pro-democracy camp as another means by which the police are starting to crack down on pro-democracy activity. But the timing is significant because today marks the final day of submissions for candidacy for the September 6th legislative elections. And there's a big cloud over those elections at the moment because of questions as to whether or not they're actually going to take place at all. There are reports in local media that the government's actually planning to postpone the elections because of concerns over the coronavirus. And if that happens, there'll certainly be a lot of outrage here among pro-democracy activists who say that a postponement is completely unnecessary and it's perfectly safe in their eyes to continue to have an election despite the coronavirus concerns here.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Richard Kimber, for joining us from Hong Kong and getting us those insights. We'll, of course, come back to you as more details emerge.